Today's session we look at the question of how long does it take for a person to go into hypnosis. I guess this question that comes up is one directed at people that probably have never experienced hypnosis before, or people that have only experienced it once or twice and sort of seeing where everyone else is at. It's a pretty broad question, but for a lot of people, I'm going to just look at the part, I guess they ask that question is from, generally most people associate that, or the part where you're going, okay, once you relax and go deeper and deeper and that kind of stuff is the induction. I guess the question actually usually targets that. There is the pre-session, the setup and that kind of stuff before we actually do hypnosis. So for anyone who's going to, just to nut out anyone that's sort of right there and go, oh, well, it's all really about the, it's the setup and the pre-session, that's really important. This conversation is specifically those people that probably are asking those questions of from the induction itself, where you're talking into the state of hypnosis to being in hypnosis, is what the question is actually going to be targeting. And first thing is that acknowledging what hypnosis is there's a few definitions, but to me it's absorption. You're getting absorbed in what the hypnotherapist or hypnotist is doing, and you're listening to their voices. And we also look for responses and different things, such as you may see a change in breath, you may see fluttering of the eyes, and change of colour in the person, and similar things. So as a hypnotist, we'll actually look at those things to get an indication that the person is going into a state of hypnosis. So on that definition, that's what I'll call hypnosis for those people just wondering how long it takes. And I guess the general thing is it's going to take you about, you would assume, about 1 minute to 2 minutes. There is the rapid inductions, which you see where you'll see people handshake and sleep and that kind of thing, or sleep. So there is that type of induction, and that usually has a setup, so it can be quite rapid. But your general one, where you go to say, oh, I'm going into a hypnotherapy session, they're going to take about 1 minute to 2 minutes generally. Now, saying that, we have to take into context or such things as diet. So if you've had 7 coffees before you've arrived at the session, it may take you a little longer to actually get into a relaxed state, not a relaxed state, but a state of hypnosis, so to speak. And relaxation itself is more a byproduct of hypnosis, just to make that point. But generally it's that 1 minute. And interestingly, for those that are inquiring about how will I know, is that hypnosis really is absorbing in a voice and listening to the person's voice, and you become a bit more centered on that, and you become aware that you're in a different state. So someone might come in, here's the funny thing, someone might come in, sorry to transgress there, but someone might come in and they, for whatever known reason, is they're resistant and saying, you can't put me in hypnosis. They're generally going to take longer because they're not willing or wanting to go into their state, or they might be anxious, so you might do a different approach. If they're highly anxious or that kind of thing, you might use a different approach, which may take longer because you need to get that person settled and relaxed before you do it. And then there's the one, and I've done this myself, and I always say never trust a therapist who's never received therapy, but when I receive hypnosis, which is regular, I receive hypnosis. Sometimes I've observed others that have come to me, you're excited, you're like, all right, I've got something that I really want to focus on, I want to take care of, I'm sick of this, or I want to get much better at this, I'm excited about it. And that sometimes is just, it's the other side, is you're so excited, your brain starts to, and you start thinking about what's going on, which can sort of sometimes impact on getting to the different levels of hypnosis and the deeper states. But in general, in a general context of therapy session, expect that it could take you from induction, which means the person is starting to say, okay, I want you to relax, I want your eyes to close, and those kind of things, 1 to 2 minutes. And the other thing that may be of interest to people who are starting to explore hypnosis as a form of therapy is that each session And you know, it must make the point here that some people, you know, the idea of, oh, it's instant, it's going to change my life. Sometimes it does do dramatic changes, but just one session in itself, I don't expect that that's going to completely change the world. Generally, people come back for 2 or 3 sessions, because you have a settling period and then you work on stuff. And I'm going to do another video on which is, why do people leave on I feel okay? Because you really should be feeling a lot different, a lot better. But away from that, is that each time a person comes in, or that I go to therapy even, is that the first time you do an induction, and the method may be different, they may be doing this and, you know, your hands, you know, hypnotized, magnets and that kind of things, your eyes are getting heavy, or different methods. I tend not to use them after a while, because the person understands that, oh yeah, I can go into hypnosis. Wow, okay. So there's no point doing the same one sometimes, and I like to do a lot of variety. So the person may come in and it's as simple as this. Sometimes, because people know that I'm a hypnotherapist, I go to hypnotherapy sessions. And they will say, okay, close your eyes, and I just want you to concentrate on your hypnosis and going deeper and deeper. So they might start a conversation simply as that, and I know what's happening. And once you've done hypnotherapy a few times, you actually understand where the state is. So there's no point running through this whole system when it can be shortcutted. So those sessions actually get shorter and shorter at times. But yeah, 1 to 2 minutes generally. Thank you for your time.